We'll discuss whether you should buy the Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit in this video. So I'll start out with a little history as to why I bought my Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit. The reason why I bought my Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit was because I was spending a ton of time alone during the pandemic. It was my first experience with electronic drums, and during my many years as a musician, I had only dabbled with playing the drums. I've now had them for over 4 years now, and they get plenty of use. Once I had my Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit and I assembled it, there were several things to consider. Some included, what should I use for a seat? How do you output sound? And I also wondered how the drum module worked, this being my first experience with electronic drums. These are the two solutions I came up for: a drummer's throne or a drummer's seat. I got really fortunate. A good friend of mine, Double D, thank you, bought me this rock and sock drummer's throne here, and I acquired this drummer's throne when I bought an acoustic drum kit, and both of these work fantastically well. I mostly use my Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit for practicing. I also use it when the volume can't be blasting loud, like with acoustic drums. I use it with my pans, depending upon the scenario. And also in some recording scenarios, because it is much easier to record with than acoustic drums. This is the drum kit module. It's essentially the brain for the Alesis Nitro drum kit. It has several preset drum kits to select from. It also allows you the ability to record. It also has tracks that you can play along with and practice to. It has a jack for headphones. It also allows you to plug in your phone to play along with things like Spotify or other musical choices you might have. It has several different options to output sound and MIDI connections. And I have a user's manual that I'll provide a link to in the description below. There are a few ways to output sound with the drum module. There's a jack to output sound to a Bluetooth-like speaker, and there's also 2 1/4-inch cables in the back that can go out to speakers. And you also have the option for MIDI in and out, which can also assist in outputting sound depending upon the setup that you have. If you're going to be using speakers though with the 1/4-inch cables, you better make sure you have a robust set of speakers that can handle the sounds that the drums will make, because you can't have any wimpy speakers in that scenario. After experimenting with the drum module and playing around with the different features for a while and the different sets that they had, I really wasn't satisfied, and I decided to take my sound and setup to the next level. You can extend your Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit by adding an extra crash cymbal and tom. There are 2 inputs in the back that allow you to do this. I cover this in another video in my electronic drums playlist. I'll add a link to that video in the description below. You can also buy things such as a drink holder and drumstick holder and other accessories. To take my drum kit sound to the next level, I utilized an audio interface along with a digital audio workstation. This gives your drum kit sound a supercharge because you're able to utilize the different kits on the digital audio workstation and use things like plugins and several other things to really fine-tune your sound, and you can save them for future use as well, and it's just a far superior way to use these electronic drums. So the setup that I use with my Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit includes a Focusrite Scarlett audio interface. I use Logic Pro producer kits for my digital audio workstation, which runs off an iMac, and I output my sound to Thump monitor speakers. This setup is also ideal for jamming and recording with other musicians, because everybody can plug into the audio interface and you can record with your digital audio workstation, and you also have extra output options that everybody can plug into as well. So it's a really fantastic solution to go with. So a couple random observations I've made about electronic drums. There are some really traditional acoustic drum kit players who will absolutely refuse to play them and will very much look down upon them. But I've also seen a hardcore acoustic drummer convert over to play electronic drums in certain situations as well. There are a few considerations to think about when purchasing the Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit. The kit is fairly small and it lays closer to the ground, so if you're a taller person, I'm not sure if it's the greatest kit for you, or you might have to get some jacks to use it. As I mentioned, if you really want to supercharge your sound, it may involve extra costs like an audio interface and the ability to use a digital audio workstation. You also want to think about getting a decent throne, as drummer's throne as well, or a drummer's seat. And finally, as I had mentioned before, you want a really solid option to output your sound to. In conclusion, I would definitely buy the Alesis Nitro Mesh Kit again. It's been one heck of a fun journey. Like I said, I hadn't played electronic drums before, and I had never really been a drummer before in my life, and because of the pandemic, I spent the time and took quite the journey to figure out the best way to use them, and now I use them quite often, and other people will come over and jam with them all the time, and I record with them too. And they're 4 years old and they're holding up great, so considering the cost for the kit, and fortunately for me, I had most of the other stuff required, so it's been a really fantastic purchase for me, and it's worked out great. And I would definitely do it again. The price of the kit can vary depending upon where you buy it. Here are a few prices I saw today when checking online.